Morelle for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your testimony, you talked about Title 44, which governs much of GPO's activity, which I think, as you said, was written for the age of print and no longer reflects how GPO operates today. So with much of our publications needing to move to digital formats, are there statutory printing obligations that you currently have which you think are no longer serve your mission or customers that we should be thinking about?
So the way GPO is structured and the way Title 44 is structured is GPO is governed by the Joint Committee on Printing, which this year is chaired by the Senate, but in the past it alternates between the House and the Senate. The JCP, working with GPO, has found ways to sort of, as I like to put it, operate in the liminal spaces of our statute, so that we can usually find ways to get around some of the more rigid parts of Title 44. But a good example is, the number of printed copies we're supposed to make is written in statute. That doesn't make any sense anymore. So addressing what we call the usual number to reflect the current practice where we work closely with JCP and the clerk and the secretary of the Senate to make sure that we're not overproducing things that people don't need. So we've submitted to this committee and to the Senate a series of legislative proposals, some big, some very small, and we're happy to talk with you all about what the right package there looks like.
Well, and I would certainly defer to the subcommittee chair on modernization and the ranking member, Ms. Torres, to take those up. But I think it is interesting, not only here in Washington, but my prior life in the state legislature in New York, how many things get written into statute that make no sense. I mean, when you think about it over time, it's like every time we have to change a number, we have to go back and rewrite or change the law, and it does become outmoded. There's probably better ways to do it. So I would certainly, Mr. Chair, look forward to working with you and the subcommittee chair and ranking member to make that easier. If you were asked, what's one legislative change for the committee to prioritize as it relates to GPO? Is there any thoughts that you have about ways that we can continue to serve the mission but make it easier, more effective, more efficient? Or things that you just think, okay, why do we have to do it this way?
There are a number of changes. One of which, a good example, is...
I'd like a good example. That's good. Don't give me a bad example.
I've got plenty of bad ones,
give me a good one.
But a good example would be the fact that our statutes don't spell out the fact that we can provide publishing services in addition to printing services for a lot of our customers. So the addition of just that one word vastly expands what we can provide our personnel to whether it's our congressional customers or our executive branch customers, because we aren't doing as much printing anymore. Really what we're doing is helping folks prepare these documents. At the end of the day, if you need a set number of printed copies, we've got the machinery to do that. But that is not the number one thing we do anymore.
Got it. Okay, that's very helpful, and I think, again, I defer to my colleagues, but I think we're all looking for ways to continue the mission, make sure that at the end of the day, the most important thing is that the information is made available to taxpayers and the citizens so that they can continue to feel like they have transparency and access to the government. So, and there's no secret that when Abe Lincoln was inaugurated 165 years ago today, and the next month, March, and the government printing office was on that, it was just done differently, and it's, you couldn't foresee the world as it is today, but we want to make sure we keep present and keep active. I have other questions that related to your comments to bolt on to digital capabilities. in the absence of reform to the law, but I think I'll defer. We can have further conversations, but in the interest of time and the fact that I have 6 seconds left, let me just conclude by thanking you again for being here, for your leadership, your team, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to ask some questions, and I yield back.
Thank you. The